You say you want success, but your alarm clock rings and you hit snooze. You say you want change, but you scroll instead of act. My friend, your dreams aren't dying because of bad luck. They're dying because of laziness. Today, I'm not here to motivate you softly. I'm here to challenge you to kill your laziness before it kills your future. We live in a world where everyone is waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for inspiration, waiting for motivation to strike like lightning. But here's the truth: motivation is never coming. If you sit around waiting for the right feeling, the right timing, or the right opportunity, you'll spend your entire life in the waiting room. Successful people didn't start because they felt ready. They started because they knew waiting was another form of procrastination. They understood that action comes first and motivation follows later. You don't move because you're motivated. You become motivated because you move. Think about how most people approach their goals. They say things like, I'll start when I feel inspired, or I'll begin when things settle down. But that perfect moment never comes. Life never gets easier, and the world doesn't pause for you to get comfortable. The people who make progress are the ones who act despite discomfort. They wake up tired but still show up. They feel scared but still take that step. They understand that waiting for motivation is a trap, one that kills more dreams than failure ever will. If you always wait to feel ready, you'll watch others succeed while you're still convincing yourself to begin. Motivation is like a spark. It's exciting but short-lived. Discipline, on the other hand, is the fire that keeps burning. The problem is, too many people chase the spark and never build the fire. They watch motivational videos, listen to podcasts, read quotes, and for a few minutes, they feel unstoppable. But once that feeling fades, they fall right back into laziness. Why? Because they rely on emotion instead of discipline. Real growth happens when you act without excitement, when you do the work even when it feels boring, uncomfortable, or difficult. That's the difference between a dreamer and a doer. Let's be honest. Laziness isn't just about being tired. It's about avoiding discomfort. We tell ourselves we need rest or that tomorrow will be better. But deep down, we're running from the hard truth. Success demands effort, and effort is uncomfortable. But comfort never created greatness. The gym isn't comfortable. Studying isn't comfortable. Waking up early isn't comfortable. Yet those are the very moments that build the person you want to become. When you learn to embrace discomfort, laziness loses its power over you. The secret to killing laziness isn't motivation. It's learning to act without it. Action has an amazing effect on your brain. The moment you start doing something, even small, you begin to generate energy. You felt it before. You don't want to work out. But once you start, you feel alive. You don't feel like writing, but after a few lines, your mind starts flowing. That's how momentum works. Action creates emotion. So instead of waiting to feel ready, train yourself to take small steps. Make your bed. Open your notebook. Start the timer. Once you begin, your brain will follow your body. The energy you're waiting for will appear after you start, not before. There's a powerful quote that says, you can't steer a parked car. You can plan, dream, and think all you want. But until you move, you're going nowhere. Even if your first step is small or imperfect, it's still progress. Too many people waste their lives trying to plan the perfect path. But the truth is, clarity comes from motion. Once you start, you learn, you adjust, you grow. Every step forward reveals what the next one should be. You can't think your way into success. You must act your way into it. And that's the real secret behind every successful person you admire. They didn't have more motivation than you. They had more action. They didn't wait for the right time. They created it. They didn't feel ready. They made readiness irrelevant. They understood that if they didn't move now, they might never move at all. While others were planning, they were doing. While others were waiting, they were learning. And while others were making excuses, they were building momentum. So the next time your mind says, I'll start tomorrow, answer back, no, I'll start now. Because laziness feeds on delay and discipline feeds on decision. Every second you hesitate gives your weakness more power. You kill laziness not by thinking, but by doing. Start small, start messy, start tired, but start. Once you do, motivation will come chasing you instead of the other way around. Laziness doesn't destroy your life in one big moment. It destroys it slowly, silently, one excuse at a time. It doesn't knock on your door with noise. It creeps in quietly, disguised as comfort, disguised as rest, disguised as, I'll do it later. You don't even realize the damage it's doing until years pass, and you look back at everything you could have done, but didn't. That's the real cost of laziness. It steals your time, your potential, and your future while making you believe you're safe. But you're not safe, you're stuck. Every minute you waste doing nothing is a minute someone else is using to build their dream. Every hour you spend scrolling is an hour someone else is learning, growing, and moving closer to success. Time doesn't stop for anyone. Not for your tiredness, not for your distractions, not for your excuses. You think you have time, but you don't. Every day, the clock moves forward, and every second you delay is gone forever. Laziness doesn't just take away what you could have done today. It steals the person you could have become tomorrow. Think about this. Your potential is not something permanent. It's like a muscle. If you don't use it, you lose it. The more you give into laziness, the weaker your drive becomes. You start accepting less from yourself. You start believing, this is just who I am. And that's the scariest part. Laziness doesn't just kill opportunities, it kills belief. It convinces you that you're not capable, not talented, not disciplined. But it's not that you're incapable. It's that you stopped trying. You stopped pushing yourself. You chose comfort over growth. You traded progress for pleasure. And now you wonder why life feels empty. Laziness also costs you your confidence. When you avoid hard work, you don't just lose results. You lose respect for yourself. Every time you break a promise to yourself, I'll wake up early, I'll start that project, I'll get in shape, a piece of your confidence dies. You stop trusting yourself. And when you don't trust yourself, you start doubting everything. You doubt your abilities, your goals, your worth. Laziness feeds that doubt, but confidence grows through consistency. When you do what you said you do, especially when you don't feel like it, you rebuild trust in yourself. That's the foundation of success. There's another price you pay for laziness: lost opportunities. Life gives you windows of chance, but those windows don't stay open forever. A person you could have met, a skill you could have learned, a job you could have earned, gone simply because you weren't ready. Laziness makes you late for your own destiny. It makes you unprepared when opportunity knocks. You can't grab success when you're still asleep. Mentally or physically, by the time you decide to move, the door has already closed. Remember this, opportunities don't wait for lazy people. They reward the ones who are ready, the ones who show up even when they don't feel like it. And it doesn't stop there. Laziness costs you your peace of mind. You may think it feels good to rest all the time, to avoid effort. But deep down, you know it doesn't. You feel guilty. You feel behind. You feel anxious because deep down, your soul knows you're capable of more. Laziness doesn't bring peace. It brings quiet regret. You lie in bed thinking, I should have done more. That's not peace. That's pain disguised as comfort. True rest feels good when it's earned, not when it's stolen. Rest is a reward for effort, not a replacement for it. Maybe you think you're just taking it easy, that you'll get serious later. But later never comes. The truth is, if you can't be disciplined now, you won't be disciplined later. Laziness doesn't suddenly disappear with time. It grows stronger with habit. Every time you choose laziness, you make it easier to choose it again. And one day, you wake up wondering where the years went. You'll see people younger than you doing what you always dreamed of doing. And you'll feel a sharp pain inside, not jealousy, but realization. The realization that it could have been you, if only you had acted. Understand this: laziness is not rest. Rest rejuvenates you. Laziness drains you. Rest is controlled. Laziness is chaotic. Rest helps you recover. Laziness makes you weaker. Don't confuse the two. You don't need to stop working hard. You need to stop wasting time pretending that doing nothing is self-care. Growth requires energy, and energy comes from movement. When you move, you create momentum. When you stop, you lose it. It's that simple. So before you give in to laziness again, ask yourself, what is this moment of comfort really costing me? It's costing you your future body, your future business, your future happiness. It's costing you your potential, your peace, and your pride. Laziness might feel good for an hour, but it hurts for a lifetime. The pain of effort is temporary. The pain of regret never leaves. You were not born to waste time. You were born to build something, to grow, to create, to impact. The cost of laziness is not just missed goals. It's a wasted life. And there's nothing more painful than realizing that you had everything you needed to win, but you never tried. Everyone wants success, but very few want discipline. Because discipline isn't glamorous. It doesn't come with applause, likes, or cheers. It's waking up when you don't want to, working when no one's watching, and staying focused when distractions are everywhere. Discipline is the quiet work behind every loud success. You can have all the talent, intelligence, and ideas in the world, but without discipline, they mean nothing. Talent gets you started, discipline keeps you going. The truth is, lazy people fail not because they're less capable, but because they lack consistency. You can't build anything great with random effort. You can't work hard once in a while and expect lifelong rewards. Success doesn't come from intensity, it comes from consistency. Discipline is not about working hard once. It's about showing up every day, even when you're tired, bored, or uninspired. That's what separates the dreamers from the doers. Discipline is the art of mastering yourself. It's doing what needs to be done, even when your mind screams no. It's controlling your emotions instead of letting them control you. Most people lose not because life is unfair, but because they lose to their own feelings. They only work when they feel like it. They only try when they feel inspired. But winners don't depend on feelings. They depend on discipline. They understand that feelings are temporary, but results are permanent. You see, motivation is like a battery. It runs out. But discipline is like a generator. It keeps producing energy. When you're disciplined, you don't need someone to push you. You push yourself. You don't wait for opportunity, you create it. You don't rely on luck. You rely on habits. That's what, or ruthless, discipline means. It's not about being harsh. It's about being unbreakable. It's about doing what's right for your goals, even when it's hard, boring, or lonely. Let's get real. Discipline is not easy. You'll fail many times. You'll promise yourself you'll wake up early and end up hitting snooze. You'll plan to work out and find yourself lying in bed. But the key is not perfection. It's persistence. Discipline is built in the moments you fall, but still get up. Every time you win that tiny battle, resisting the urge to scroll, choosing to study, finishing your task, you build mental muscle. That's how discipline grows through repetition. Like a muscle, it strengthens when tested. Start small. Discipline isn't built overnight. Don't try to change your whole life in one day. That's how people quit. Instead, start by mastering one habit. Wake up 30 minutes earlier. Work 1 hour longer. Read 10 pages a day. It's not the size of the step that matters. It's the direction. Each small act of discipline creates momentum. And once you feel that momentum, you'll never want to stop. Because progress, even small progress, is addictive. One powerful way to build discipline is to remove the choice. Stop debating with yourself. The more you think about whether to act, the more likely you'll give in to laziness. Decide once, then follow through automatically. For example, if you plan to wake up at 6 a.m., don't negotiate at 5:59. Your alarm goes off, you get up, no conversation, no excuses. The mind is tricky. It loves comfort. The moment you start reasoning with your laziness, it will win. The disciplined person makes the decision once and sticks to it every time. Also, understand that discipline is freedom. It might sound like a contradiction, but it's true. Discipline frees you from chaos, stress, and regret. When you control your habits, you control your life. You no longer feel guilty for wasting time. You no longer live in confusion or fear of failure. You feel strong, confident, and proud because you know you can rely on yourself. That's real freedom. When your habits serve your goals instead of destroy them, discipline also teaches you to value time. Lazy people waste time because they think they have plenty of it. Disciplined people treat time like currency. They invest it wisely. They know every wasted minute is a debt to their future. That's why they schedule, plan, and act. They don't rely on someday. They live by now. You don't need to be a genius to succeed. You just need to be organized, consistent, and disciplined. Another secret of disciplined people, they don't chase perfection, they chase progress. They don't beat themselves up for failing once. They get back up. Failure doesn't destroy discipline. Quitting does. Every mistake is a test of your commitment. Every setback is a chance to rebuild your strength. Discipline means you keep showing up no matter what. You can start over 100 times, but never stop starting. If you want to kill laziness, you must stop being soft with yourself. Stop giving yourself permission to quit. Stop saying, just one more minute. Stop making excuses for why you can't. The world doesn't reward excuses. It rewards effort. When you build ruthless self-discipline, you become unstoppable. You no longer need someone to motivate you. Because you are motivation, you become the kind of person who doesn't wait for change, but creates it. So start building discipline today. Not tomorrow, not next week. Start now with one action, one task, one promise to yourself. Keep it, then keep another. Soon, you'll realize that the lazy version of you no longer exists. You replaced it with someone stronger, sharper, and hungrier. And that transformation from lazy to disciplined is the foundation of everything great you will ever achieve. Look around you. The people in your circle are either pushing you forward or pulling you down. There's no middle ground. You become like the people you spend the most time with. If you surround yourself with lazy, negative, and excuse-making people, don't be surprised when you start thinking, talking, and acting like them. Energy is contagious. So is laziness. If you sit with 5 unmotivated people, you'll become the 6th. But if you spend time with 5 hungry, focused, driven individuals, you'll rise to their level because their energy will challenge your comfort and awaken your potential. You can't expect to grow in an environment that drains you. You can't light a fire while sitting in the rain of negativity. The truth is, your environment shapes your mindset more than your willpower does. You can have big dreams, but if everyone around you talks about why things are too hard or impossible, their words will slowly poison your belief. You'll start to doubt yourself. You'll start to shrink your dreams to fit their fear. That's how laziness spreads, through excuses disguised as advice. Have you ever noticed how people with no goals always have time to talk about others? They gossip, complain, criticize, and justify their failures. They'll tell you to relax, take it easy, don't stress too much. But what they're really saying is, don't outgrow me. They're not bad people. They're just comfortable where they are. But if you stay around them too long, you'll start feeling comfortable too. And comfort is the enemy of progress. You need to surround yourself with people who make you uncomfortable, not in a negative way, but in a growth way. People who make you think bigger, work harder, and expect more from yourself. The kind of people who don't let you settle for average. When you tell them your goals, they don't laugh, they ask, what's your plan? When you feel lazy, they remind you of your purpose. When you make excuses, they don't agree, they challenge you. That's the kind of energy you need. People who push you toward greatness, not people who pull you toward excuses. Energy doesn't always mean loudness or hype. It means drive. There are quiet people with powerful energy. You feel it when they talk. They're focused, intentional, disciplined. They don't waste words. They don't waste time. Being around them makes you feel sharper. Their habits inspire you without them even trying. You walk away from their presence feeling motivated to act. That's the kind of company you should crave. People who raise your standards simply by living theirs. Here's the truth most people don't want to admit. Sometimes you have to let go of people you love to protect the person you're becoming. That doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you start choosing wisely. If someone's energy constantly drains you, if every conversation leaves you tired or doubtful, that's a sign. Love them, but limit them. Protect your space like it's gold, because it is. The energy around you is either helping your growth or slowing your progress. And if you don't control your environment, it will control you. When you decide to change your life, not everyone will understand. Some will call you arrogant, obsessed, or unrealistic. They'll say, you've changed, and they're right. You should change. Growth demands change. You can't evolve while staying surrounded by the same excuses. You can't become disciplined while spending time with the undisciplined. If you want to rise, you must separate from what keeps you low. That separation might hurt at first, but staying stuck will hurt more in the long run. Building the right circle doesn't happen overnight. You might have to walk alone for a while, and that's okay. Walking alone is better than walking with the wrong crowd. Use that time to work on yourself. Read, learn, build, focus. When you elevate yourself, the right people will start noticing. Energy attracts energy. Strong minds attract strong minds. You'll begin meeting people who inspire you instead of distract you. That's when you realize you never lost anyone. You simply outgrew what wasn't serving your future. And when you finally find that circle, protect it. Support each other. Push each other. Talk about goals, growth, discipline, and purpose. Celebrate small wins together. Correct each other when someone slips. A powerful circle doesn't just share dreams, it shares accountability. That's what makes all the difference. Excuse makers talk about luck. Disciplined people talk about action. Lazy people look for comfort. Ambitious people look for challenge. Surround yourself with challengers, not comforters. Understand this: you are not lazy by nature. You are lazy by association. The energy you absorb daily becomes your lifestyle. You don't need to cut off everyone instantly, but you do need to limit the time you give to people who aren't adding value to your journey. Be intentional with who you listen to, who you talk to, and who you spend your time with. You don't need 1,000 friends. You need 3 or 4 who truly want to see you win. So stop surrounding yourself with people who say someday. Be with people who say today. Stop listening to those who make excuses. Learn from those who make progress. Stop sitting with those who drain your energy. Walk with those who raise your energy. Because at the end of the day, your environment either feeds your laziness or fuels your greatness. The choice is yours. And it starts with who you let sit at your table. Excuses are the most expensive lies you can tell yourself because they cost you your future. Every time you make one, you trade progress for comfort. You tell yourself, I'll do it tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes. You say, I'm too tired, and your dream waits one more day. You say, I don't have time, but you spend hours scrolling, watching, and talking. Excuses sound smart, but they are silent killers. They kill dreams, destroy habits, and turn ambition into regret. You have to understand something. Success doesn't care about your excuses. Life doesn't stop for your feelings. Opportunity doesn't wait for your readiness. The world keeps moving while you're still explaining why you couldn't start. Excuses might make you feel better in the moment, but they rob you of results. And when you finally look back, you'll realize that your biggest enemy wasn't the world, your family, your boss, or your luck. It was the excuses you kept believing. Every excuse has one goal: to protect your comfort zone. The brain is designed to avoid pain, to save energy, to stay safe. But success doesn't live in safety. Growth is uncomfortable. Discipline is uncomfortable. Change is uncomfortable. So when your brain starts giving you reasons like, I don't have the right equipment, or I'll start when things are perfect, recognize it for what it is: fear dressed up as logic. The difference between lazy people and achievers is not opportunity, it's ownership. Lazy people explain. Achievers execute. Think about it. Every time you say, I don't have time, what you really mean is, it's not my priority. Because time isn't the problem. Everyone gets 24 hours. The question is, how do you use yours? The truth is, the busiest people on earth still find time to chase their goals. They don't find time, they make it. They cancel distractions, ignore noise, and commit to action. Excuses are easy because they ask for nothing. Execution is hard because it demands everything, but only execution pays off. The hardest part of replacing excuses with execution is starting. That's where most people lose. They overthink, overplan, overanalyze. They want the perfect plan, the perfect idea, the perfect timing. But perfection is just another excuse. You don't need perfect. You need consistent. You don't need more time. You need more focus. You don't need to wait for the right moment. You need to create it. Execution is messy, uncomfortable, and uncertain. But it's the only way forward. Action beats hesitation every time. You know what's powerful: finishing something you once thought was too small to matter. Because that's how execution works. Small steps, done daily, lead to massive change. The person who takes one imperfect action a day will always outperform the one who keeps waiting for the perfect moment. When you execute, you gain clarity, confidence, and momentum. When you make excuses, you stay stuck in the same cycle, wishing, waiting, worrying. Here's the truth. Excuses don't disappear when you succeed, they just get louder. The more ambitious your goal, the more resistance your mind will create. You'll start hearing new ones. I'm not good enough. I don't know how. I might fail. But the solution never changes. Execute anyway. Action is the only way to silence excuses. You can't think your way out of fear. You can only move your way out. Each time you take action, you train your brain to trust you more. And the more you trust yourself, the fewer excuses you need. Another trap is blaming circumstances. People say, I can't do it because I don't have support, or I wasn't born in the right place, or I don't have resources. But remember, every successful person you admire started with less than what they needed. They didn't wait for perfect tools. They used what they had. They didn't wait for approval. They gave themselves permission. They didn't have time. They made time. They didn't make excuses. They made execution a lifestyle. Execution doesn't mean working without rest. It means working with purpose. It means waking up with a plan and ending the day with progress, even small progress. You don't need to move mountains in a day, just push one rock forward. Progress builds confidence, and confidence destroys laziness. When you see yourself taking action, you start believing that change is possible. That belief becomes your fuel. But when you keep making excuses, you drain that belief until nothing is left but doubt. Here's something you must understand. Excuses make you feel safe now, but they will break your heart later, because one day you'll wake up older, wiser, and full of regret. You'll realize that the only thing standing between you and your dream was your own hesitation. You'll wish you started earlier, tried harder, stayed longer. That's the pain of excuses. They don't hurt immediately, but they hurt forever. So how do you kill excuses? You replace them with execution instantly. When your mind says, I can't, do one small thing that proves you can. When it says, I'm too tired, do 5 more minutes. When it says, I'll do it later, start right now. Don't wait for the perfect time. Act until it becomes the right time. The more you act, the weaker your excuses become. The more you execute, the stronger your discipline grows. You can't build a future with reasons, only with results. You can't build success by talking, only by doing. The world doesn't care about what you could have done. It cares about what you did. Excuses protect your comfort zone. Execution expands your life. You have 2 choices every day: stay comfortable and remain the same, or get uncomfortable and grow. You'll never regret the days you executed. You'll only regret the days you didn't. Somewhere deep inside you, there was a reason you started. Maybe it was a dream that kept you up at night. Maybe it was a promise you made to yourself or to someone you love. Maybe it was the pain of being stuck, the hunger to prove something, or the desire to change your life. But over time, that fire faded. Laziness, distractions, fear, and doubt built a wall between you and your purpose. You started strong, but you forgot why. That's what laziness does best. It makes you forget the reason you began. It convinces you that comfort matters more than purpose. It tells you you've done enough, even when you know you haven't. It whispers, rest a little longer, when you know you should be moving. And day by day, that whisper becomes your reality. You don't quit suddenly. You quit slowly, quietly, one lazy decision at a time. But deep down, your heart still remembers. It still knows you were made for more. Every person who achieves greatness has one thing in common: they never forget their why. Because your why is the fuel that keeps you going when motivation dies, when discipline hurts, and when life gets hard. Your why is what gets you out of bed on the days when your body wants to quit. It's what keeps you focused when the world distracts you. It's what reminds you that the pain of effort is nothing compared to the pain of regret. Think about why you started. Maybe it was to give your family a better life. Maybe it was to break a cycle: poverty, fear, failure, mediocrity. Maybe it was to prove to yourself that you could. that you were capable, that you were meant for something greater. Whatever your reason was, hold on to it. Because when you remember your reason, you remember your strength, your why is your armor against laziness. There will be days when you feel lost, days when everything seems to go wrong, when your plans fall apart, when nothing works. You'll question yourself, why am I even doing this? That's the exact moment your why needs to speak louder than your doubt. If you forget your reason, laziness wins. If you remember it, nothing can stop you. Because purpose is stronger than pain. Passion is stronger than excuses. And commitment is stronger than comfort. When you feel like quitting, don't think about the work left to do. Think about how far you've come. Remember the version of yourself who wished to be where you are now. That person would be proud of your progress. You owe it to them to keep going. You didn't come this far just to come this far. You started this journey for a reason. Finish it for that reason. Remember that your why is not just about you. Someone out there is watching you, maybe your little brother, your child, your friend, your parents, your team. They're learning from your habits. They're inspired by your effort. If you give up, they'll think it's okay to give up too. But if you keep going, they'll believe they can too. Your discipline becomes someone else's hope. Your consistency becomes someone else's courage. That's bigger than laziness. That's legacy. Sometimes the reason you started changes, and that's okay. Life evolves, and so do you. But never lose the feeling that made you start. That spark that made you believe anything was possible. Reconnect with it. Write it down. Look at it every morning. Let it guide your actions. Because when you forget your purpose, every little task feels heavy. But when you remember it, even the hardest day feels meaningful. Your why is what separates the lazy from the legendary. Lazy people work only when they feel like it. Driven people work because they remember why they started. Your why doesn't make the work easier. It makes it worth it. When your body says stop, your reason says keep going. When the world says you can't, your reason says watch me. That's the kind of fire no laziness can kill. Close your eyes and imagine the life you want, not the one you have now, but the one you're chasing. The freedom, the peace, the success, the pride. That vision isn't random. It's your potential calling you. It's your future self begging you not to quit. Laziness wants you to forget that picture. Purpose wants you to chase it every day. The choice is yours. You have to protect your why, like your life depends on it, because it does. Every time you skip a task, delay a goal, or give into comfort, you drift further from that vision. But every time you push yourself, every time you take one more step, you move closer to it. The distance between your dream and your reality is measured in decisions. Small, daily, disciplined decisions. So when laziness tells you to rest, remember your reason. When it tells you you're tired, remember the people counting on you. When it tells you it's too hard, remember why you started. Your dream deserves your fight. Your future deserves your effort. Your purpose deserves your consistency. Because one day, you'll stand at the finish line and you'll look back at all the moments you almost gave up. You'll smile, not because it was easy, but because you remembered why you started and you never stopped. Look around you. Every dreamer, every achiever, every name you admire once stood where you are now, tired, confused, tempted to give up. The difference is simple. They didn't let laziness win. They felt the same pain, the same distractions, the same doubts. But while others slept, they worked. While others complained, they built. While others scrolled, they studied. Laziness isn't just a habit. It's a silent thief. It steals your time, your growth, and your potential. It whispers comfort, but delivers regret. And the cruel truth is this: one day, you'll wish you had started today. You'll wish you had pushed harder. You'll wish you hadn't wasted the moments that could have changed your life. The clock doesn't care how you feel. Time moves whether you move or not. Every second that passes is either your weapon or your wound. So ask yourself, are you building your future or are you sleeping through it? Discipline will hurt, but laziness will destroy you. Success demands sacrifice, but failure demands regret. You get to choose your pain. You can feel the pain of effort today or the pain of regret tomorrow. One fades, the other lasts forever. When you wake up tomorrow, your bed will feel warm. Your mind will say 5 more minutes, and laziness will smile, waiting for you to surrender. But that's the moment you fight back. That's the moment you stand up, not because it's easy, but because you promised yourself something greater. You promised to change. Every great story begins with struggle, but it ends with victory. And your story, it's not over yet. The world hasn't seen your best. Your family hasn't seen your breakthrough. Your dream is waiting for you to show up, not tomorrow, not next week, now. So stand tall, breathe deep. Look your excuses in the eye and tell them, you don't control me anymore. Kill your laziness before it kills your destiny. Work when you're tired. Move when you don't feel like it. Believe when no one else does. Because one day, your discipline will turn into your dream. Your persistence into your power, and your consistency into your crown. The future belongs to the ones who act, not the ones who wait. So don't wait, don't pause, don't stop. Kill your laziness and take your life back.